Welcome back. Okay, welcome to part 2 of conquering the elevator pitch like a boss. If you're back here, then I know you are serious about life and you are serious about your business. Okay, so we're gonna hop right in. One thing I want you to get, this is a quote that I take with me, I've heard again recently, and I want you guys to write down, is this: people buy what they understand the fastest, not necessarily the best. Now, this is a quote from Building a Brand Story, and I will put the link to that book in your email, but I want you to get this. It's talking about simplicity. Translation is, it doesn't matter if you're the best at what you do, if you don't know how to explain that clearly so the other person can understand quickly, then you've wasted your time. Forget about it. We need things quick and easy to understand. Think about how you are, right? When people say things to you and it's confusing, you're just like, ugh, listen, girl, I do not have time. Okay? So you have to think about that when you're thinking about crafting your pitch. Today, I'm going to teach you the easy breezy formula to crafting a juicy response to that networking nightmare question. So what do you do? I know for some of you guys that's super scary and you just absolutely hate it, and it's also one of the reasons you don't go to networking events. That question, so what do you do? Right? Have you ever been in that situation where somebody asks you that and then you start like shifting from one foot to the other and your hands are clammy and you're wondering if you had your business cards, and then you start like saying things, none of it makes sense. You're having a separate conversation in your head about what you're saying, and the person's standing there like politely like drinking their cocktail, their eyes are darting thinking, I need to go talk to somebody else, and then they say something like, oh, that's nice, that's interesting. They are not interested, okay? So that is why you're here, so avoid all of that. But before you craft your pitch, here's the thing. Are you listening? Lean in. You have to be excited about what you do before you go tell anybody what you do. If you are not excited about what you do and who you help, that other person cannot be excited either. Your excitement is contagious. People like to be around people who are passionate about what they're doing. The goal is to get someone saying, wow, that's interesting, tell me more. Where you're looking for the tell me more sentence, right? So you have to be excited about what you're doing to have that person be like, ooh, that's exciting. All right, you see where I'm going with this? Okay, so in your pitch, it needs to check these 3 boxes. 1, it has to tell the other person what you do. It needs to tell the other person what problem you solve, and it needs to tell the other person who you solve that for. Who is the target that you're looking for? And the great thing is, you don't need to have one solid introduction. You could have multiple introductions depending on the setting, depending on who you're talking to, depending on your mood, right? So we are going to talk about the 3 different ones you want to have in your back pocket, so when you get to that networking event and they're like, so what do? You are well equipped. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the formula, and then I'm going to use my own brand as an example. So here's 3, pull out your notebooks. If you didn't download it, guys, I need you to go and pause the video and go do that now, right? So we have 3 different ways I want you to curate that elevator pitch, okay? Your job is to fill in the blanks. In your book, you'll see the X is what I want you to answer. So the first one is, I help X who want to X. So you're showing the desire without having to X. So it's telling you who you help, the problem you solve, and yes, the what, the who, and the why. Okay? Now, I'm going to read you my example of this, just so you get context of the first one. So I help women who want to birth their big idea, their next big thing, they have been sitting on without having to figure out all of the marketing and branding on their own. Now, my pitch changes all the time. The more I talk about it, sometimes a new word will spark some inspiration. So I want you guys to not be too rigid and don't be hard on yourself. This is supposed to be fun, okay? So that's the first one I want you to curate for yourself. I help X who want to X without having to X. Number 2 is I help X who want to X but struggle with X, right? You guys see the theme that's going on here? This one is struggle. This is without having to is the problem we solve, right? So I help, who do you help? Who want to, what's the problem that you solve? And the struggle that they're having is. So I'll give you my example. I help women who want to launch their next big thing. They are dying to birth, but struggle with streamlining ideas, their messaging, and knowing where to start. The third one is I help X who don't know how to X by doing X. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example so you can see. I help women who don't know how to brand or market their dream project by providing them with online and offline programs, one-on-one coaching, and giving them the direction and all the tools they need to make it happen. Those are my 3 pitches, and I have many more, but this is where I want you guys to start. If you can fill these out, you are way ahead of the game. So now it's your turn. I want you to make sure you've downloaded all the worksheets. I want you to fill this out. Do it as many times as you have to do it until it becomes natural and second nature. And I want you to do this really important check-in. I want you to do a gut check. Does this feel right? Do you feel excited? So I recently went to this event in Arizona, Powerhouse Women, and Angie Lee, who's a marketing specialist, was on stage, and she was having people stand up from the audience and do their pitch. And she would make them do it until the whole audience could feel their energy, because this is all just an exchange of energy. When we tell people what we do, you guys know you need to be rooted in what you say and what you believe, right? Like, you believe you can help those people, you believe that you have something unique to offer, then you need to be rooted in that. And when you present it, I want you to do a gut check. I'm going to give you what your next steps are, but if you're not excited when you say the thing, it's not the thing. I need you to start over. Okay, so for everybody who's doing the challenges, here's your bonus challenge. What I need you to do before the program ends is I need you to download the template that came to your email. It has these 3 things, okay? And all you have to do is fill in the blank. I want you to put the I help, fill in your X, who want to X without having to X, right? And this is a great way for your audience who's on Instagram to know what you do. A lot of the times people are following us, we get new followers, and we haven't reintroduced ourselves. This is an amazing way for people to be like, oh, I didn't even know you did that, or you helped those people, or you solved that problem. So I want you to do your best, fill it out, post it on the gram, and tag me. Guys, if you don't tag me, then I won't know you did it, and I can't put you in the pool for the big reward at the end. So remember, you're going to write it, and then I need you to do the gut check. If you can't say to yourself, damn, that sounds real good, then that's not it, all right? Okay, guys, that's it for today. Make sure you stay tuned to your inbox for your next juicy piece of training.